What is up everyone, and welcome to some more F1 23 My Team Career Mode. Last time out we were at the British Grand Prix, and despite the fact that we had a top 3 start, we actually managed to fall all the way down to P10 and only scored 1 point. So it was a little bit of a disappointment, but it was not the end of the world. Now we're going to be re-signing our teammate Enzo Fittipaldi, and we're looking between the low risk and the medium risk offer. In the end, I go for the low risk offer, and before he even replies, I can already see that I've got him because of that trophy popping up. And yeah, we've retained his services until the end of the season, which is something we couldn't do in season 1 of my team last year, so I'm pretty happy about that. But anyway, it is now time for the Hungarian Grand Prix, and I am very optimistic about this one. I think that we, you know, whilst I have struggled, hold on a sec, I'll talk more about that in a second. Lewis Hamilton is retiring from Formula 1. In my first season, it's not Alonso, it's not Bottas, it's Hamilton. That's comes as a little bit of a shock, to be honest. You know, I was thinking maybe he'd want to compete for another world championship or something like that. But yeah, he apparently is giving up after this one, and I can't see him winning this world championship. So yeah, that's end of an era for Formula 1. Anyway. Moving onwards, we are going to get into the Hungarian Grand Prix, as I said, and yeah, I feel good about it, because whilst it's not a track I've historically done so well at in the past, I feel like because we have so many downforce upgrades on our car, like we are one of the strongest teams in terms of pure downforce on the entire grid, that probably will bode quite well for us as a track that requires so much downforce. We're finally remembering to do driver perks as well. We've done a few facility upgrades as well, and also R&D. You know, it's really sort of a housekeeping type scenario. We're going to be getting a lot more resource points. That's not going to be possible to upgrade again until claim level 15. I think we're currently at claim level 8 or 9, so we're going to have a little ways to go yet. But yeah, we've done quite a lot here, you know. So yeah, a lot of admin, a lot of taking care of sort of the things that sometimes fall by the wayside. And yeah, we've even got a powertrain facility upgrade, which means that's now spec 1, which means we've got a ton more upgrades that we can do there. But they're all 1200 resource points, so I'm going to have to wait until our next weekly resources to be able to get that. We've got an option to either lose some aero morale or some driver focus. Obviously I'm going to go with aero morale. I can't afford for Fittipaldi to be unfocused. He's already not getting great results, which is probably due to the fact that this is I think the worst car, or maybe the second worst car on the grid. You know, I need him to be full focus to try and capitalize on the errors of others if he possibly can. We have just enough to do another upgrade. We have a choice of fuel efficiency, ERS, or engine power, and in the end I settle for engine power. You know, I think that our ability to go in a straight line is pretty bad at the moment. You can see we have the second worst engine on the grid at the moment, after AlphaTauri, so we really desperately need some upgrades in the engine department as well as the chassis department. Reliability too. Aero we probably don't need to worry about for a little while now, which is good, because I think we've reached sort of the end of the amount of aero upgrades we can do. We can actually afford one more perk as well. I've gone for boosting driver acclaim further. I think that's going to be incredibly useful. And now, finally, after all of that admin, nearly 4 minutes worth of taking care of things, we're finally actually going to progress into the Hungarian Grand Prix weekend. And start to look towards getting on track. It looks like it's going to be raining off and on a little bit, especially in practice, but also potentially in the race as well. They say it's going to stay dry in the race, but I'm not so sure. You know, they said there was a 50% chance of rain at the start of the race weekend, so I'm not so sure. We're going to be swapping out a few components, including our energy store, which we're going to be onto our 3rd energy store now, which means that yeah, we are going to be taking a grid penalty. It'll be a 10-place grid penalty for this Grand Prix, which means no matter where we qualify, we're going to be starting a lot further down the order, no higher than 12th probably, even if we, or I guess 11th, even if we get pole position, which you know, I'd say is pretty unlikely, given that this is not one of my stronger tracks. I think we potentially have the potential to score some points here. You know, if I can get a Q3 appearance, then maybe we can grind our way back into the points. But I think, you know, even if we can sort of get like top 12 or something like that, that would be a pretty strong performance. Somehow I managed to top practice, which I don't really understand. But the way I think that happened was that there was a very small, maybe 15-minute window during this practice session where it was dry, and for the rest of it, it was wet. And I think that because I snuck all my running into that 15-minute window, it kind of meant that I had the ability to top the session. But I wouldn't read into that too much. I'd be very surprised if I come away with pole position in qualifying here. We do have the resource points to do another upgrade, so we're gonna try and get another durability upgrade on. It's gonna be this very, very cheap durability upgrade that we've got going on there, and I think we only have room to do one upgrade in every department except the aero department. And unfortunately, we actually don't have any upgrades that we can do because they all require facility spec 2. So it's going to be a little while before we get any more aero upgrades on the car now. We've effectively maxed that for the facilities we've got. And yeah, we should be focusing, I mean, in particular, we should be focusing on chassis. We've got a tire wear upgrade coming, which is going to be fantastic because I've been really struggling with tire wear lately. I mean, you guys have seen it. So if we can improve our tire wear a little bit, then I think that would be that would help us go a long way to maybe improving our quality in the race. You know, I've had some very strong qualifyings, but race pace, it feels like we just tail off over the course of the race, which I think is in large part due to the fact that our tire wear is so shoddy. But anyway, it's now time for us to get into qualifying, and we're out on our first flying lap of Q1. We're on a fresh set of soft compound tires, and as we round the final corner, we're going to cross the line to do a 1:18.3. So, not the most special lap I've ever done around Hungary by any means, but probably will be enough to get us through into the next qualifying session, I imagine. And yeah, you can see as I round the final corner on the same set of tyres that I used before, I don't improve. I'm about 3/10 down or so, and it's good enough to see us through to Q2 in a decent but unremarkable P13. So as long as we can find that kind of form again in Q2, then I'll be pretty happy with that, because we still have to qualify 15th or higher. You know, that's part of our sponsorship target. So yeah, we'll see if we're capable of doing that, and we'll see who's been eliminated here. Sainz going fastest in this session, the current championship leader, if I'm not mistaken, as well. He's having an absolutely fantastic season. But your eliminations are both AlphaTauri, Tsunoda and De Vries, Hulkenberg in the Haas, Albon and Sargent in the Williams, and my teammate Fittipaldi was 21st. So at least he's not starting last, but still a little ways off the pace, you know, almost a second off of me again. And maybe it's time, now that we've got all our facilities to Spec 1, maybe it's time for us to start, or all of our car component facilities to Spec 1, maybe it's time to start focusing on our personnel a little bit and improving, you know, Enzo's ability to drive the car a little bit, hopefully. That was another fresh set of softs that we just run on there, 1:17.6, so a big improvement over our time from Q1. I guess I strung a much better lap together there. And, well, we actually managed to find an even better lap on the same set of tyres. We improved by just 0.05 of a second, but, you know, still better than nothing. 1:17.6, we crossed the line, and it's good enough for P8, so we're through to Q3. You know, that's why I went on the same set of tyres again, because I was feeling like it was good enough to get us through. And I was right, and I'm almost amazed that I was right, because I really, you know, thought that if there was any track where I was going to be eliminated in Q2, I would have expected it to be right here in this circuit. You know, I never do particularly well here, so I'm pretty happy with that. No matter what happens now, we can be happy with that. It's both Alfa Romeos, both McLarens, and Gasly and Magnussen eliminated in Q2 here. And yeah, we'll see if we can maybe push ourselves even further up the order in Q3. You know, if I can get top 8 there, then that would be absolutely amazing. You know, this is not a strong circuit for me by any stretch of the imagination. And yeah, as we round the final corner on another fresh set of softs, we've got 2 sets of softs ready to go for this session. And we pressed the lines to do a 1:17.8. So there's definitely going to be some improvement in there. Obviously, we're doing 1:17.6s in the previous session. But yeah, you know, we're looking pretty hot to trot right now, you'd have to say, and 4/10 up as we come into the final sector as well. So we're potentially looking to do our fastest lap of the weekend if we can do these final corners nice and quickly, turning quite early there. But we don't lose too much time. We're going to be about 5/10 up, I reckon, as we come through this final corner here. And yeah, we're going to see how well this lap is going to go. It's going to be a 1:17.4, and that is good enough for P7. Wow, okay. Very good run from us, and yeah, one of my best qualifyings in Hungary, maybe ever. I don't even tend to do that well when we have a fast car, so maybe it's a little bit easier this time, I don't know. But either way, the only people out qualifying us were the top 3 teams, the Ferraris, the Red Bulls and the Mercedes. Max Verstappen in an uncharacteristically poor P6, so hopefully he can work his way back from there. But we're ahead of both Aston Martins and the Alpine of Esteban Ocon. Obviously we outqualified our rival Pierre Gasly here as well, so yeah, pretty content with that. Means that we're closing him down in the rivalry after he had a stronger weekend in Silverstone. But yeah, we're going to see if we can continue that form in the race. Obviously, we'll be starting P17, so we're going to have to battle our way back through the field a little bit. Maybe we can score a point or two, but if the rain comes down, then we may have to settle for whatever position that we find ourselves in. I don't know. It's going to be quite tricky to make up lots of positions in the wet, just due to the nature of a wet track being so unpredictable and really hard to find the grip and all that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm not too optimistic about this and our potential of scoring points. I think if we can grind our way back to sort of P12 or something like that, then I would say it was a successful race. And yeah. And we'll see what we can do as we get into the Hungarian Grand Prix.
Button, Hill, Alonso and Kovalainen, the names of the drivers who had their breakthrough in Budapest, winning their first Grand Prix right here. The Hungaroring, it's like Monaco without the boats, although the boats today could come in very handy indeed. 14 corners, 6 to the left and 8 to the right, and some very tricky challenges to deal with out there. These rainy conditions aren't going to help things. It is very likely we'll see a safety car or two during today's race. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Sainz, Russell, Hamilton, Verstappen, Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Stroll, Magnussen, Norris, Oscar Piastri, Bottas, Gasly, Joe, Tsunoda, Robinson, Hülkenberg, Albon, De Vries, Fittipaldi, De Vries. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? Natalie Pinkham is with me in the commentary box once again. The rain has arrived. It has thrown things up in the air. It's chaos, it's pandemonium, and whisper it, we love it.
I'm very well, thank you. I forgot my umbrella on the way up to the box, so I'm a bit soggy, but I'll dry out soon enough. It's going to be an interesting race in this weather. Obviously, your strategy changes completely once it starts raining, as overtaking is a lot easier in the wet. The focus moves away from pure aerodynamic efficiency and tyre management, and of course, the driver themselves can always make more of a difference in these conditions than in the dry.
Okay, we've got that relief of having points on the board finally, so let's keep that form up and get another top 10 finish today, please.
Well, it looks like the Inters are not going to last a whole race distance around here at all. In fact, they were suggesting I might even do a 2-stop, do 3 sets of Inters, but absolutely forget that. You know, no chance am I going to be using 3 sets of Inters for a race. No, I'll use the 2. I think we'll be able to last. You know, they might wear out quite strongly, but I still don't think that that's going to be the fastest strategy. Surely, I mean, I guess we'll see. They say the rain's actually getting lighter as well, so yeah, maybe there will be a change to dries at some point during the race, and maybe we could try and hold out for that on one set of Inters as well. I don't know when it will come, but yeah, we'll wait and see. But yeah, anyway, we're going to be lining up on the grid now, getting ready to go for the Hungarian Grand Prix for the first time in F1 23 My Team career mode. And yeah, we'll see if we can do anything. We got a few fast boys in front of us, Gasly and Tsunoda included, as the lights come on. And the lights go out as we switch to the replay camera, and you can see that, yeah, that is me trying to get on the inside of Zhou Guanyu there in the green, and I think he's had a pretty good getaway compared to us, as has Tsunoda. And actually, we're being challenged by one of the Williamses there. We have to take evasive action to avoid going into the back of Zhou. Sound familiar? But we do manage to just about hold on to where we are at the moment. I think Albon has got ahead of us, and now we're being challenged by our teammate Fittipaldi as well. Someone else jumped us off the start too. We're all the way down in P19 at the moment. We're going to see if we can challenge Albon back, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to go back up the inside of him. Meanwhile, my teammate's trying to go around the outside of me. Enzo getting very racy with me. We push him out, and that actually causes him to lose a position to De Vries. So, yeah, he's going to be on the radio saying, I have never seen a defense like that in my life. But anyway, we find ourselves in P19 at the moment. Lost a couple positions due to our own sort of desire to race with the cars around us, but hopefully we can get past these guys nice and quickly and find our way back up the order. Looks like we already got ahead of Albon there through the chicane. Yeah, you're about to see he's now behind me. I think it was Hulkenberg was the other driver who jumped me off the line there. So yeah, he had a very good start. I think he got ahead of Zhou Guanyu there as well, who's the driver we're now trying to pile pressure on as well. We'll see if we can get ahead of him sooner rather than later. You know, I don't want to be stuck behind him for too long. We dummy him to the inside, try and go around the outside. Will we be able to make the move stick? I think he's going to try and keep his foot in here. Who's going to be on top? It's going to be Zhou Guanyu, actually. He finds the grip, and actually Albon looking like he might have been going for a move there. We managed to stay in that position for the time being. But yeah, very, very intense racing going on right now. You know, you really got to have your wits about you. Visibility's low, but you still want to make those positions up. You know, I'm in P18. I don't have time to sit and mess around, so I'm going to have to try and make a move on Zhou Guanyu sooner rather than later. Burning the battery, I'm sure. I'm going to go to the inside of him at turn 1 as we start lap 2, and we do manage to make the move stick on him. So yeah, very, very strong position that we've worked our way. Strong position. What am I talking about? Very strong move that we make there, and we've gained a position as a result. That's what I was trying to say. And now, yeah, lap 2, and we're ending lap 2 onto lap 3. We're putting some pressure on Hulkenberg, and we're going to see if we can go for a move on him up the inside from a little ways back. But yeah, caught him napping a little bit. Maybe he wasn't expecting me to go for a move like that. We'll see. I'm getting all kinds of tongue-tied today, man. But yeah, we're going to see if we can continue progressing our way up the order. We got Gasly and Tsunoda ahead of us, and then Piastri. I think it's Bottas, and then Norris. And then Magnussen is the first driver in the points, so he's going to be the guy that I'm going to want to get ahead of sooner rather than later. But for a few laps actually there, I got stuck behind Gasly and Tsunoda, and yeah, I'm getting a little bit bored. I'm finding myself in a bit of a train at the moment, which stems to about Norris, I would say. Magnussen a little bit further up ahead. Maybe it's actually Ocon holding up the train by the looks of things, because it looks like Norris is pulling away from him. So yeah, I'm not quite sure, but yeah, big cluster of cars. Kind of sorted in this particular part of the track at the moment, really going all the way back to Sargent in 22nd. So yeah, we'll see. But it seems like someone's the cork in the bottle, and it seems like it might be Esteban Ocon there in P11 at the moment. So actually, I was wrong. It's Norris is the first driver in the points at the moment. But as we get to the chicane, we're going to go up the inside of Pierre Gasly and into P15. Catch my rival napping a little bit there. He definitely wasn't expecting a move in such an unorthodox position, but that's exactly how you make overtakes in Formula 1, by catching your opponent off guard. And yeah, he definitely didn't see me coming there, and well, he was made to bear the brunt of that, because we're now in P15, and we're going to see if we can get ahead of Tsunoda sooner rather than later, start piling some pressure on the cars in front, see if we can get ahead of Ocon. Meanwhile, Norris is moving so far ahead. I think Verstappen has fallen behind both of the Aston Martins as well. So yeah, uncharacteristically poor performance from him, but Alonso's nowhere to be seen. And I think that's Stroll that he's trying to get ahead of at the moment. So yeah, Verstappen having an absolute shocker of a race at the moment. And yeah, we're going to see if we can get ahead of Tsunoda sooner rather than later here. We're going to brake late, look to the inside. That was from a mile back. I didn't expect that one at all, to be honest with you. But yeah, we just decided, you know, it looks like we're coming with a bit of speed, so why not go for a little bit of a move? And he gave us the space, and that was his first mistake and last mistake. So yeah, we find ourselves in P14 now, and maybe points aren't going to be a complete, you know, a complete bust. Maybe there is a chance that we can actually find our way into the points. We're putting pressure on Oscar Piastri. We're a little ways back, as he's putting pressure on Bottas, who's putting pressure on Ocon. You know, a bit of a train going on here. But as we come to the hairpin there, we actually get on the power a little bit too early, make a bit of a mistake and go wide. And that allows Tsunoda to come through. We're also having Hulkenberg on our inside looking for a move there, but he doesn't quite make it happen. And we're down into P15 again. Tsunoda making the move ahead of me. Yeah, like I said, just went a bit wide due to my own sort of ego But yeah, we're now on lap 11, and well, you might be able to see actually that's Verstappen and Norris coming into the pits there, and a few cars potentially doing the two-stop that I can't really rationalize in my head, because surely that's just going to cost them time. I don't know. Tsunoda's actually one of those guys coming in as well, as is Ocon. So I think it might be hard for me to catch Piastri and Bottas now, since Ocon was kind of the cork in the bottle. But yeah, we've made our way into P11 as a result of this. Verstappen is yeah, on a really bizarre strategy. We'll see what kind of pace he has on those fresh intermediate tires. But it doesn't seem like it's going to be the correct strategy. I don't know. However, you can see that he has actually managed to catch me by the time we get to lap 15. He was gaining on me by a number of seconds per lap because of how much faster those fresh intermediates are. I guess they wear out quicker than I realized or something. But yeah, piling a lot of pressure on me, and as we come on the run up to turn 4, he's already going to be a full car length ahead by the time we get there. I think we made a little bit of contact there, but no harm, no foul. And now Norris is setting after us as well, because he's pitted too. So I'm starting to think this was maybe the correct strategy to be on. But I mean, who knows if it would work for me like it worked for these guys. Norris piling some pressure on as we make our way into lap 16 now, and he comes up the inside. And that is going to be myself down in P13. Maybe not, actually, as he gets a bit of a wobble there. And yes, overtake failed for Lando Norris, and we find ourselves back in P12 for the time being. I don't even know where we are at this stage net-wise, so I'm not even going to try and suggest where we might be. Verstappen pitting again. I don't know if he got damaged or something when he was trying to overtake Bottas or something. But yeah, he's into the pits again, and this is a shocker for him. He's going to be going down to plumb last for sure. You know, there's no chance he's going to be anywhere else. As Norris actually makes the move happen on this occasion, he's a full car length ahead. I can't see him losing this one now. And yeah, we find ourselves in P12 still, though, because of that Verstappen pit. And yeah, now on lap 17, as we make our way through the sort of technical section, there is a red flag. So everything is nullified, and I think I just finished E12 now, right? So it could be worse, you know, this was where I was targeting. But yeah, it's a bit annoying to see we could have maybe made up a few more positions. I felt like I was on a pretty good strategy as well. I thought a few people might have been about to pit, and we weren't too far away from dry conditions. But it doesn't really make a difference now. Everyone's going to be going on to new inters. And yeah, here we go, getting ready to go as the lights come on. And the lights go out, and we get away reasonably well, but there's a red flag immediately again, another glitch. So yeah, it's yeah, another red flag, and that getaway that we had that was pretty good by the looks of things is going to be completely nullified. And now, here's the big kicker, it's time for dry tyres. So everything I worked for in this race has been completely wasted, basically, because I was going to try and go long on those inters, try and get onto the dries and gain a lot of positions doing it that way. That's not how things are going to work out anymore. As the lights come on again, and this time the lights go out for real. I think we're going to actually get racing this time. And I mean, actually the cars are going a little bit slowly here. I'm not sure if there's something going on here. But yeah, it didn't look like that was the typical sort of racing start. There's yellow flags waving. And you can see on the billboard there that there is a, on the, I don't know what you'd call that, like the flag board thing, that there is a safety car, SC safety car. And well, it's already out. I don't know how it got out this quickly. But yeah, pretty impressive stuff from the Mr. Mylander in the driver's seat of the safety car. And this is Max Verstappen at the back of the grid, where he should rightfully be after his 2 pit stops to most people's none, being picked up by the safety car and inheriting the lead of the race. So there's literally no way for Verstappen not to win a Formula 1 Grand Prix. Even when he is last with 12 laps to go, the game will still find a way to put him in first. This is Nico Hülkenberg retiring from the Grand Prix, becoming the first retirement after 23, 24 laps. And yeah, some kind of gearbox failure, I think, maybe for him. I didn't see any smoke. So yeah, disappointing for him. But Verstappen is in the lead. That pushes us down 1 position, and we got jumped by Ocon off the start before the safety car was called. So yeah, we find ourselves in P14 now, unfortunately. And I mean, that's just bollocks, really, isn't it, man? Like, Max Verstappen just takes the lead of the Grand Prix. I don't know if that's actually going to count, but it still seems a tad ridiculous to me. I don't know. that he can get away with something like that. Coming under pressure a little bit from Nick De Vries behind on this safety car restart. I definitely didn't put any pressure on Esteban Ocon, that's for sure and certain. And looks like he's going for a move there. We move to cover him off, but we get it slightly wrong, and we almost get binned as we make a bit of contact with him. That allows Zhou Guanyu through, and he puts a bit of pressure on us as well. And we're falling away from Ocon and Piastri in front now. So yeah, really stupid situation that we find ourselves in there. Just move over a little bit too much on Nick De Vries, and that caused us to lose out some time. But we do eventually catch up to the train, as there's a bit of battling going on there. But yeah, now we're just in a DRS train, which extends as far as either Norris or Bottas. It's not clear who's the head of the train, whether that was Norris overtaking Bottas. I think it was, judging by how far he's already pulling away from him. But yeah, Bottas leading this train, which stems all the way back to, I guess you could say, Albon in P16. So I think we're going to really struggle to make any more overtakes now, as we just won't be able to contend. We don't have that much battery. We're not that fast through the corners on these fairly used medium tyres at this point. We've been on them for, what, about 10 laps or so. So yeah, they've already probably seen their best days. And yeah, as we move now onto the final lap of the Grand Prix, we're just going to try and bring it home. P14, you know, it's not the best position we've been in. I don't know where we're actually going to be classified with this red flag glitch. We'll see, I guess. But yeah, one thing's for certain, I really hope that Max Verstappen gets stripped of chance to win here, because that was that glitch we saw in Australia as well, where it moves some cars at the back of the field to the front of the field for absolutely no reason, and it's not really fair. He crosses the line to take the victory on track, but will he actually be the winner come the end of the Grand Prix? That remains to be seen. Only a few more corners to go. I think we're going to be able to hold off Zhou and stay firmly rooted in this position. It's a bit of an anti-climax in the end. I was hoping that something a bit more chaotic would happen. But as we round the final corner and come on the run up to the line, we are going to cross it to take P14.
There'll be smiles at the factory after that one. A great race and a real team performance to take victory here in Hungary. So, Natalie, what made the difference out there today?
Well, what a race. At the end of the day, it is all about raw pace, and our winner had it in spades today.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today and a stunning win for Ferrari.
So Charles Leclerc finally breaks the curse and manages to actually find himself in a race-winning position. You know, he's been really struggling because a lot of the time he's been losing out to his teammate. But this time his teammate comes off second best, as it is a Ferrari 1-2 at the Hungaroring, and toothless George Russell finds his way into P3 as well. So Max Verstappen nowhere to be seen on the podium. That makes me very happy, because it wouldn't have been fair. And yeah, a very bizarre race.
Let's see what effect this result has had on the drivers' standings.
The gap at the top of the championship has been cut down after a difficult race today for our championship leader.
Let's focus on driver of the day, Natalie Pinkham. Come on, who do you pick?
I have to give it to Robinson. Such an incredible atmosphere here today, and that's been heightened by the performance we've seen on track. The hairs on the back of my neck are standing up. The crowd's roar says it all.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Ferrari continued to extend the gap at the top of the table. It was also a strong Grand Prix from Haas F1 this weekend. Fantastic work from the American team to move themselves further up the table. Been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.
Well, yeah, Verstappen ended up not even scoring any points, so I think that's probably the most fair scenario. 5 points separate the two Ferrari drivers at the top of the table, and it's looking like it might be a fight between those guys, and maybe Verstappen can still be involved. Meanwhile, Kevin Magnussen picked up P8, which meant that they've moved as a team, Haas, back into P7 in the Constructors' Championship. It's okay, because we're only targeting P8 this season, but I would dearly like to beat them if we could. You know, that'd be something that would make me immensely happy if we could be able to compete with them. We also got driver of the day for our troubles as well, which I honestly wasn't expecting. You know, we only went P17 to P13, and Alonso went P7 to P4. I know that's not as many positions gained, but But when you consider where they are on the track, I feel like that's a lot more impactful. I personally would have said it should be Fernando Alonso. I don't think I was particularly driver of the day worthy, especially when you consider some of the other performances I've had this year where I didn't get driver of the day. I don't really see why this one stands out in particular as being a place I should get driver of the day. But, you know, I guess I'll take it. I won't complain too much. And, yeah, we'll just sort of, you know, move our focus ahead to the following Grand Prix, which is going to be the Belgian Grand Prix, one of my favourite circuits on the entire Formula 1 calendar, maybe second only to Silverstone in this year's game. You know, as a controller player, I have to say that a lot of tracks that previously were somewhat difficult for me as a controller player, I'm now finding to be not easy by any stretch of the imagination, but certainly a lot more fun, a lot more predictable, and just overall, I think that certainly I can take a few sort of quality of life bugs early on in the game. You know, a lot of people are bitching and moaning, being like, you know, the game is broken and none of the features work and that kind of thing. But if they've made an enjoyable Formula 1 driving experience, I will be patient this time. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, the game's terrible, when, you know, they addressed one of the biggest problems with the game, which is that it straight up wasn't fun to race. But now I would say that in the races, I actually have quite a lot of fun. You know, I feel like I actually, you know, can find the traction a lot of the time. I feel like I understand sort of throttle control a little bit more because of the new controller settings and stuff like that. You know, it's a lot more predictable. On last year's game, I felt like throttle was very much an all or nothing is how it felt a lot of the time. It was like you would try and apply throttle, and if you tried to apply a little bit of throttle, you would have to like really gently squeeze the trigger, and if you squeeze the trigger more than like 25%, you'd basically be full throttle, or like something very close to full throttle. Whereas this year's game, because you can adjust that throttle linearity, it feels like it's a lot better for someone who's playing on controller. I am planning on getting a wheel and pedals at some point, but I can't say for certain when that will be. So for the time being, I think that they've done a very good job to make this an enjoyable experience for us controller players as well. When last year, you know, for sure, the wheel was basically the only option if you wanted to be a very fast driver. So yeah, a difficult weekend for us. That penalty kind of put us out of any kind of contention of points, I think, at the end of the day. Fittipaldi as well, really struggling. I think he came home in like P20 or something like that. So really not what I was hoping for from him. But, you know, we can regroup and adjust our focus to a place where I think we have a very solid chance of scoring points at the Belgian Grand Prix next time out. But that is going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed, please make sure you like and subscribe. And hopefully I will see you in the next one.